Hey gardeners, Enlightenment Garden here at the end of March 2022. I'm always amazed when I graft on scions to see them go from seemingly dead pieces of wood to pushing out growth. So I wanted to show you an update on the grafts that I did actually just about a month ago. So the first one we'll look at is here at my pomegranate bush. This is an in-ground bush that I've had for about 8 years at my property. A couple years ago, I top worked most of the branches coming out. These are all new varieties. It's an update on these pink ice grafts that I did last month. I did 5 of them. So even in that short amount of time, you can see that the bush has healed over that graft. It's pushed this tissue, this yellowish, greenish material out to actually heal over the wound. And all of them have taken, some more than others, but you can see they're all pushing growth. The 2 on this side just happen to be a little bit more vigorous and have really pushed a lot of growth. So a pretty rewarding thing, and I really do recommend this type of approach to grafting when you're dealing with pomegranates, just because more likely than not you're going to have very thick rootstock, especially if you're going to be cutting your bush down low to the ground. And the scions that you'll purchase tend to be quite thin. You can see how thin these scions are. And given that it's a rind bark approach graft, you have a lot of surface area touching that cambium, so really high success rate. So those won't produce fruit this year, but they will next year. Okay, update on the Fuji apple tree that I trimmed down to about 2 feet tall and top worked. So put on 4 different varieties. I had 2 of each, but just recently thinned that out to the most dominant or best graft of each variety. So just to kind of recap, this is the pink crypts. I guess it's also known as pink lady. This one is the acane. This one is winter banana. And this is white pearmain. And what's nice is all of these varieties cross-pollinate. They're all earlier varieties, so they should help with fruit set. That's another great reason to graft. I didn't get much fruit set on my Fuji, and I think it's because of the poor pollination. So you can see I'm also allowing, the Fuji to grow back out. A couple branches that will become its new scaffolds. So I should get actually better fruit set on the Fuji as well with these other varieties in the mix now. Another thing that I did, this is probably the most aggressive top working I've ever done. This is what remains of my Eureka lemon. This was a huge tree that I had in this spot for about 8 years. I was very careless this last year and let it overfruit, and it really damaged the limbs. So I took that as a good opportunity to actually cut this down to near the ground level. And what you see here are 4 scions that I took from my variegated Eureka lemon. So these are the pink lemons, which I really love. These are so unique and so tasty. They're not as sour as a normal Eureka. So this was a great opportunity to go ahead and rework the tree with a variety of lemon that I really like. And you can see just starting to break through the parafilm some of these grafts. And these grafts are not a month old. I actually just did this 2 weeks ago. And this was also using a rind bark approach graft, where I basically slipped back the bark and slid those scions right in between the cambium and the bark. Okay, we're now looking at the fig grafts that I did. So this is my in-ground black mission. Whenever I do fig grafts, I really do prefer to use a grafting tool like the Zenport tool that does basically a V-graft. Makes it really straightforward. You don't have to have any skill, and I have really high success doing that. You just want to do it exactly at the right time, just when you start to see signs of bud break on your fig tree. So for me, that was about a month ago. So this first pair of grafts, these are a variety called Suadi. So really a variety that does well in a hot climate. Moving down the line here, this is a white Madeira graft that I put on. And you can see it's starting to sprout some growth here. This one here is a Bergen Unknown. If you go over on this side, you can see it's actually already producing a fig. So that's a really nice thing about grafting, is you get that instant gratification. Pretty much every time I put a graft on that same year, I'm going to be able to enjoy the fruit. I don't have to wait, until the next year to get a harvest. And this is yet another white Madeira graft, because I like to do 2 of each. This is the other Bergen Unknown. This one is grafted onto my Atriano that's in ground, and you can see this one too is already popped out a fig. And got another bud pushing at the back here. The last graft to mention is this one on my LSU purple that's in ground, and it's actually grafted to a graft of red Lebanese Beck Valley. This graft here is called Great Black. It's a variety that comes from Greece. Another one that I got from Harvey at figaholics.com. You can see it's a little bit behind the others in that it's just now starting to break bud. This looked like a delicious fig when I saw a video on it. Not sure if it's common, but we will try it out in our climate, see how it does. The last graft that I put on is this one here in front. This is a Parafianca scion that's grafted onto Purple Heart rootstock. I've had Parafianca fruit, pomegranates. They are excellent. They're a soft-seeded variety. Another example, you can see it's starting to push growth. This one, because the scion and the rootstock matched up really well, I was able to just use the grafting tool on this. So that is a V-style graft. I always like sharing the updates on the grafts just to show you how easy, that is, that you can have really high success. Just putting in a small investment in time and you can get that diversity. And I'm just leaving you with some footage of all the cuttings that I started. So you can see the frankincense. These are the mulberries. Got the plumeria and bamboo and the fig cuttings. Things are really growing along now that these are outside. And they're now on the east side of my home. So that way they get protected from direct afternoon sun. Anyways, hope you enjoyed this quick video. Thanks for watching and happy gardening.